So, so we made Hiccup more heroic, we made him more, again, good-looking and, you know, sure of himself. But to us animators, we were really struggling with that, because to us, Hiccup is an anti-hero. And yet the progression of the story is it's about a character who learns to stand his own and find his place. But what we wanted to do, and the voice help is a great deal, is like we didn't want to lose the character, and he's sort of this like Apatowian, you know, Judd Apatow movies. You know, they're all a little like angsty, and you know, they struggle with their own personalities. They're geeks. They're a little bit losers, and we didn't want to lose that aspect. So one of the supervising animators did this test. It clearly went too far. It's so overactive, but you get the idea of where he wanted to go with it.
Fine, I guess I kind of like the idea of having a mom, alright? Even if she's completely nuts and we're much better off apart. There's something in everybody worth saving.
So you see there's an idea in the animation. It's overdone, it's overstated, and we got our comments, and it moves too much, it's hard to see, but there is that character that we had in the first movie where it's sort of awkward and not always, you know, confident. He's not standing up at the edge of the cliff and says, "I am Hiccup," you know, and he's more like, "Yeah, I'm Hiccup," you know, it's kind of that guy. So that we wanted to make sure we don't lose that.
Yesterday, when we flew together, it's like I got back something I didn't know I'd lost. That's the part I'll choose to remember.
So this is where we start thinking, okay, I think we got it. I think again, this is months ahead of production, or, you know, maybe 2 months ahead of production start. We felt like, okay, this is it. So we started doing the same thing with all different kinds of characters. You know, Astrid with similar challenges, and the dragons with similar challenges. We just wanted to give the movie a more sophisticated look and a little more naturalism. So this was kind of a development test we did on Astrid. And obviously, this happens on every level, you know, surfacing, lighting, camera. We wanted to give this movie much more a feel of a big effects film. And so the lighting played a huge role for us. So we felt pretty good about Astrid here. So let me step back a little bit. So now we did the design phase, but this is kind of overlapping with us researching these characters. And I want to show you a little bit what I understand in regards to studying characters. So on the dragons, it's one thing, because you're studying certain types of animals. On the humans, how do you do that? Like, how do you actually find characterization? So I have an example here. One thing that we did very early on is I had a pretty good idea of how the characters are different from one another physically. So we got some really talented improv actors to come into the studio, and I basically animated them with words. So bear with me, this will make a lot of sense. I hope.
And so Rahma, that would be Yui, slightly cross-legged, stands on her heels, but leans forward, slightly hunched, like maybe drop jacking. Loose arms and hands, neck forward, performance center at her nose. Think Metallica fan, pseudo chill. Perfect. Love it.
That's rough, right there.
His legs.
Did it in one, but
His legs is huge and slow. He moves as a block. He's a heavy breather. So actually his body has to turn with it. Okay. So if you were to look through the window, yeah, he's kind of there. His arms are either too heavy for him to hold up, so they drop straight down, or he pulls them up for comfort. Yeah. He's a bit of a nervous wreck, always anxious, talks himself into believing things. Fast conversation. If it wasn't for his heroic transformation of the village and he would be a bully. He would have become a huge bully at the group. Stands firmly on his toes, leans in. His feet are squarely planted, slightly apart. He's always in people's faces. He leads with his chest, which is always puffed. He walks around with fisted hands most of the time. Elbows always turned outwards. Yeah. Chin is up, and is always in everyone's business, as I said, and he thinks he's the shit and smarter than any of the other guys.
Wears a codpiece. But he's also the shortest of the crew.
You recognize three archetypes already right here? You have three different archetypes. Good at differentiating them.
And the kids are safely at the pool.
Hey,
She comes out of
you
the
smell
bathroom.
great tonight.
Oh man, you're harder to get rid of than lice.
Lice, hey, funny you should say that.
Why?
Brought you something. Tough Nut said you'd like them.
Tough Nut?
Yeah,
Yeah, he said that?
that's what he said. Here they are.
Guess what else Tough Nut said?
What?
This.
Ugh.
Tough Nut says a lot of things.
Yeah,
Get it?
yeah.
Here. My underwear was still down from when I shat.
Hey, the kids are at the pool. Nice job. They like swimming. Tough Nut said so.
I knew you weren't one of them. There's too much good to be bad.
Different character now. He's sort of a general.
Soldier now.
Still
Soldiers don't snuggle.
Save it for later.
You understand? There's a battle to be fought. You have to be resolute.
I get it. There's a battle to be fought.
Look, I'm sorry about what happened back there, but now we're soldiers together.
Yes, sir.
Don't salute my face. It's your own.
Let me try that again. Yes, sir.
Soldiers don't do this. Soldiers don't do this.
Okay, let's try it
We've got an
again.
enemy to fight.
Let me show you how I can
It
sleep.
could be anywhere.
Hey, I can really do this.
I know you can.
Yes.
Every little aspect what flavor they have. So obviously we did the same thing with the dragons, you know. The only thing we did differently there is because the first movie was sort of the first time animation had ever done dragons, a completely new world, and reinterpret the world of dragons, because the only dragons movies that were out there were live action films, visual effects films that had to match a live action plate, you know, live action background, real world, and we didn't have to do that. We could have some fun with it. So what we wanted to do though is make them fun and entertaining, but ground them in reality, and again, find that one thing that you, the audience, recognize. So Skull Crusher is a cross between a rhino, a truffle pig, a dung beetle, a jackhammer, and a battle axe. You guys know what this is? Eine Mischtrappe, sagt man meistens ein Presslufthammer und ein ja, genau. The grump is a mix between walrus, tadpole, and an old bulldog, a concrete mixer, a Betonmischer, and a traveling trash bin. Een reizende afval. Jetzt schauen wir da mal einen von Test ab. Was macht man da? Das ist der Grump. Ich schlafe immer ruhig, habe viel zu lange, bis es losgeht. Die Idee ist klar. Es ist ganz einfach, wir haben ein paar von diesen Ideen zusammengestellt, ein kleines Video gemacht. Sorry. We made a little video and you know, put all these references together. You know, we had footage, YouTube footage of, you know, tadpoles and bulldogs and you know, even like footage of concrete mixers. You know, what does it feel like? Because everything has character. Like you can go through the street and stand by the side of the street and watch every car drive by, and you realize every car has a different character. Ferrari goes by. Oh, yes, clearly like, you know, besides the person that sits inside it, you know, it's the character of the car. And then if the next car is a beetle, and the next car after that is a truck, everything has a character. that's the thing I'm trying to tell you. It's like character, you can find everything. It's your job to give it back to the audience so they recognize it. There's another test of skull crushing, battle axe, eagle skin, and you have a character that's original yet recognizable. So Toothless in particular, obviously, he's our most important character. He's the character that I love the most. Like, he's so dear to my heart, because he's this incredible mix of absolute innocence, real appeal. He's really charming. He wouldn't hurt anybody, but yet he's the most lethal of all weapons. He could kill anything with a blast. That's true makeup of a great character. So with him, obviously, in the first movie, again, I don't want to give it away, but the two characters meet, Hiccup and Toothless meet, and there's a sequence of about 4 minutes long where they get together, and it's without words. And for us, it was very important that in this sequence, you, the audience, falls in love with him as much as Hiccup does. So that when at the end of the movie, when things really hit the fan, that this bond is believable and that you care for the audience. So the most obvious thing to do for us was, well, obviously, Toothless had to be dark as the night. He's a night fury. He had to be dangerous and appealing, and one image that we found that represented that was the image of a Black Panther. So he was clearly going to be somewhat rooted in cat, in a feline. And what we did, and to really make it appealing, to make it again, make you fall in love with it, is most of you have pets. You have a dog, you have a cat, you might have a horse. And we started going for all these really appealing things that cats, dogs, and horses do, and we sort of filtered it into them. So I have a scene from the movie that kind of shows two different types of dragons. One is Toothless, the other one is Cloud Jumper, that have an arc in the story, and it's a scene that has nothing to do with the story, really, except for their story. And it describes the differences in those two characters and how it's grounded in reality. Can somebody tell me what animal this is based on? Good job. 5 points. Yeah, so this is the scene I did pretty much towards the end of the movie, and we just needed something, in that particular moment we needed something very specific to break the tension of the main characters and to add a certain believable type of humor. Our movie is not going for the cheap gag, it's trying to always kind of create character humor. So this is a scene that we as animators brought into the movie, and there's lots of that in the film, which makes this movie a really interesting film for us to work on. Okay, so now obviously we're starting to work shot by shot. Now let's imagine we have always developed all the characters. We know who the characters are. We know what the story is. All right, so now how do you do a shot? Like, how do you actually find a shot? And we look at storyboards with tremendous storyboard artists that have really great graphic ideas. We start doing thumbnails, like fish legs run like this, run like that, or run like this, or like that, or like that. So, of course, you can find, again, the archetype and reference, but you can also look at it graphically. And when we go back to that goose animation earlier, a lot of it was based on real reference, but a lot of it was also based on the graphic nature of, there's one pose where he sort of extends his neck and his butt goes up, and that drawing stays on the frame for 12 frames or so, and it's so graphic and so clean, where it's so rooted in illustrational skills, and that's what we're looking for. So our job is not just to shoot reference and then work with it. Our job is to find the graphic nature of a composition. Like, how do you make this read the cleanest? So this a scene from the first movie, I don't know if you remember, where Hiccup stops a Toothless from attacking Astrid, who's on the ground. And you can see that triangle composition, and it's a shitty little doodle that I did in dailies, just to give to an animator. That's sort of what we want to communicate. Or you work with thumbnails and kind of go through actions. Obviously, it's much harder to work with reference when you have an animal, because you can't really just, make your cat do that. So you have to kind of observe it and understand it. And then we do a lot of acting reference. So what these improv actors did, we do it for our own shots. Now, obviously, the problem is we have great animators who are not great actors. Personally, I'm one of those. I can't act for shit. Like, I can't just go in and make a great performance. I have to really piece it together. And for me, it's much more about inspiration. So sometimes I go and ask other animators to act it out for me. And then I pick the best things, and sometimes I do it myself, or act it in front of the mirror and invent it. So essentially my job in a shot-by-shot basis is find the right drawing, find the right staging, look for the right reference, and then edit it together. So this is a sort of a highlight reel of some of the acting shots, the reference shots that animators did.
Thank you.
That's the dragon, by the way.
An old grown-up. And since no chief could ask for a better successor, I've decided...
To make you chief! Oh my God! Hiccup, that's amazing!
Oh, stop, Ron. Never even recognized it.
I'll buddy his fist with my face if he tries to take my dragon.
Or mine!
Nice deal, lads! This wind will reach Drogo by daybreak, so best we fill this ship up with dragons and quick!
What you're searching for isn't out there, Eva. It's in here. Maybe you just don't see it yet.
Do animators really like it? He's German, by the way.
Well, not bad yourself.
No, we fought to find the animal.
It's our duty to keep the peace.
Peace is over.
Yeah, absolutely. More of the earth-shattering development, right?
This is what it is to be a dragon.
There is nothing.
You, the champion slayer of them all. Okay.
Last year, the idea was just she should get up and leave right away, and he sort of started like exploring all these ideas, like, wait, I'm going to make this completely ridiculous. And this work, the stuff that he sort of researched, and you could see it's at take 2 and presented like 15 takes in dailies to me, and to the director and me, and we had these choices that we could discuss. And this work, what he did right here, is based on that stuff we saw earlier with that improv actress. Because she gave us so many ideas, not specific ideas or direct ideas, but a flavor of who this character could be and where the sense of entertainment is. And because we did this so early on, the writing changed. We created some scenes just around the potential of that interaction. This crazy, nutty, hard rock girl that's totally in love with this soldier. So I just wanted to show you that this is not anything new. This goes back into the history of animation, that research. And again, you have to understand the difference between rotoscoping something and understanding and analyzing and finding the humor. It's sometimes some of this stuff, a dance, for example, you can invent it, but if you have a great guy that can dance like this guy, it's brilliant. Like, why not use it? Why not go and search it? Find what that is. So, history has proven to us that it's the way to go. As long as you don't straight copy. It's not about copying, it's about digesting the essence of this. When I saw this first, I thought it was such a wonderful historical piece of document. And Walt Disney was in the room with them. Like, one of the musicians was in there playing music. Walt Disney was kind of directing it. Even he wasn't the director of the movie, but he was there making sure that, you know, it's the right amount of work, of preparation is done before you go and perform these shots. You know, some of it obviously is sort of 1930s acting, but some really great ideas. And I think I have a clip of what they did with, like, they did on Balto as well. And this is an early development test on the Prince of Egypt. Again, a lot of it is based on reference. So the mixture of incredible craftsmanship and the research.
You're a liar. Your judgment is not more important than their right. Someday I think you and I are going to have a serious disagreement.
So believable, caricatured, and graphic. The animated with a lot of women that did the dance with the girl earlier. You would kill me if you knew that I was doing it.
When the angels balalaika strum the sweet song of love, Mambo!
She's not like that. And why not? This wolf business again. Now what's wrong with being half and half, I'd like to know. Sometimes I wish like crazy I was...
So, not the entire shot was based on that reference, but you can see the snippets. They're perfect. So, next thing I want to do is I want to show you a little bit of our new technology. Like, we have made some real progress in our technology that's pretty amazing. So this is how we did the first movie. Everything's gray, like makes you feel like an accountant when you work on that. And if you see how you work in high res and you punch numbers and you redraws. I mean, whoever did this dramatizing it wasn't that bad, but you know, at that time it was cutting edge. So DreamWorks working very closely with HP and Intel, and we figured out a way to rewrite the software from scratch. For about 4 years we worked on that. Designed by us, the animators, because we kind of said, look, we want to work in a certain way. We want to have the uninterruptedness of 2D animation. We want to have the advantage of stop motion animation, who works basically with the final image, fully lit scenes. And then you here they get to recalculate frames and wait for the movie to come out. But we wanted the advantage of computer animation that is infinitely editable, which you can't do in 2D and you can't do in stop motion. So we went around and created a software called Primo, here you can see we can now work in full res with all the characters turned on. I don't know why the set's turned off because we can work with the full set, and we can interactively work with the characters, and we never make movies anymore. So everything's real time all the time. And it's changed everything for us. It's changed the type of design we can have, like this kind of design the pickup is right now. Here, we couldn't have had on the first movie, just for the pure reason that it would have just taken too long to calculate every scene. So, this is sort of a highlight. This is actually my desk. As you can see, I mounted it on an old 2D desk, my 2D desk. It's a Cintiq and an XP, and I can work in real time, full res, with all these characters on. And it's just all of a sudden animation has become a little bit more like a video game. Where you can sort of play with the characters. And, you can map it out. For example, here I'm locking the camera onto the character. So while the whole thing is playing, particularly flying shots, really powerful libraries that we developed early on to really get the right type of character. And I tell you, it's so much fun to animate like this. Because it's it feels a little bit like drawing, but it's in a way better because you don't have to work as hard to get the right kind of expression. It just comes natural.
And it's much closer to puppets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sort of that feeling of hand drawn, like you're never interrupted, and you have it right there. And before you always had a natural. I mean, you guys have to too. And okay, I'm going to render my image now. I'm going to go have a coffee. I mean, it just doesn't happen anymore. It's actually a problem that everybody's working through. We're having so much fun. And like we spend less and less time in the graph editor. There's so many more tools that basically do that for you. So as one of the last things, I just wanted to show you, kind of run through a shot progression. So this is one scene through the process. So obviously we start with storyboards. They're all drawn on Cintiqs. They're pretty elaborate compared to what maybe is done in the like TV animation, because we really edit it together. We create an entire movie in boards first before we start animating anything. Then we go to previs, which is getting more and more sophisticated as well, as textures. For a while, it was just kind of grey stick figures, and the characters are rigged. And this is really where we create the idea of the camera, the idea of the shot, what the camera is doing, what kind of lens, what kind of speed the camera is moving, and the overall pattern of the character. Then again, we collect a series of reference, whatever is needed. This is well choreographed. And then we find the most sporty guy and have him do some funny stunts. And as you can see, like it feels really lame. It feels like, oh, there's no power in this. This is why animators shouldn't. This is why animators are not actors. And this is probably the most athletic of all the animators. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to shoot reference for a dragon, and I don't do it personally because I feel like it's limiting me more than anything. That was actually, by the way, the animators reminded me of the shot. So then we start blocking it out, and we have like drawing tools that allow us to draw in effects, so drawovers. Like I do a lot of drawovers on animators' poses to sort of get the right appeal, get the right dynamic posing. And so that's the first pass. So at that point you start deciding like what's driving what, and that's where you work on first. Yeah, it's very important to be methodical in animation because of what you start out with first. Playing every pass twice. I was working on the dragon. It's kind of it's flying pass.